Narcissists can't accept the fact that you have moved on and you are happy. When you are with them, they would have conditioned you to never feel better than them. Because one of the key things about narcissists is they always feel they need to be the best feeling person in the room. If anybody's happier than them, if anybody feels better than them, then it does cause an injury. So when it comes to their spouse, their partner, they condition those people not to cause them repeated narcissistic injuries. And so they basically dictate the mood of the other person. They've perfected ways of making sure that you never feel better than them. And because narcissists are never really satisfied, are never really pleased, at least not for very long, they're always feeling competitive with people. They, even if something good happens, they can't really feel good about it for long because of the inner feelings of shame and self-loathing that they have. Because of all that, they're never really feeling good. And because they don't want you to feel better than them, they always have this ongoing projection towards you to make sure that they're always devaluing you here and there to kind of keep you in line, to keep you not feeling better than them. And you become accustomed to that when you live with a narcissist, if they're your spouse or partner. You become accustomed to the fact that your mood is always going to be dampened. And it's only on those rare occasions where the narcissist is feeling good, is happy, for whatever reason. Maybe somebody stroked their ego because they did something good, or they want you to stroke their ego, so they kind of come across with some cheerful remarks. But what they're really doing is they're just trying to get you to pump them up, and those tend to be short-lived. And it's basically the narcissist only wants to see you happy if they're feeling good, because they want you to pump them up further. But when they're not feeling good, they make sure that you're not feeling great. And that became the new reality when it comes to you two. And the narcissist sees you as this person who's always going to be worse off than them. And that would have been something they would have caused. But once you break apart from them and you move on, and you're now living your life, maybe you would have struggled for some time as you were breaking apart from them, but now you've weakened the trauma bond, you've put your head into a healthier place, you're talking to other people, you're focusing on other objectives, and you're actually doing things for yourself. And you're feeling good. You're feeling good because you don't have this set of eyes, this energy, whose full-time job almost, or at least it seems, is to keep you feeling down. Because they need people to feel down, otherwise they cause narcissistic injuries. But once they're out of the picture and you've kind of, uplifted yourself above the storm, so to speak, now you're doing better than them. You're doing better than you ever could have done had you stayed with them. And when they get the crosshairs of that, when they catch glimpses of that, they really can't process it. Because just the idea that you're doing better than them causes a huge narcissistic injury. And the fact that you're not in their vicinity so they can't take you down to set the score straight, to make sure that you're beneath them again, it just means that the reality is showing that they're doing better than you, and they can't really accept that, because the disorder basically means that they need to be better than you. They need to be feeling better than you. And unless that's the case, then it's like they feel something's really wrong with them. And because they don't really accept their shortcomings, they don't really accept their disorder, they go into this state of denial, and they start coming up with all kinds of justifications in their own head as to why the situation is a little bit different. They may think, oh, you're pretending to be happy, or oh, you still haven't come, it's just a matter of time before you realize what you're missing, and then you'll be chasing the narcissist again. Or if they can't quite justify that you're not doing well, and they actually almost have to accept that you're doing well, that's where they start getting these ideas of wanting to sabotage you, to bring you back down. Or they want to temporarily come back into your life so you can, in a way, uplift them with the good things going on in your life. So again, you've uplifted them, then they feel better than you by comparison. But then, as an immediate next step, they would do something to devalue you. It's just a cycle again. So that's how narcissists react to the situation where their partner becomes an ex-partner because things broke apart, and then the person's doing much better. The narcissist tries to convince themselves through their own fake narrative that, that's not really the case. The person isn't really doing that well. The person does want me back, but it's just a matter of time. But when that narrative doesn't hold, and they, in a way, don't believe it themselves, because actually you do seem well, you did or said something, or people are talking about you, how you're glowing, and they feel they need to take action to set the score straight. And usually they usually have two options at that point. They can either come back into your life wanting to reconcile, so they'll feel good, as an extension to the good things happening to you, or they want to somehow sabotage your successes and happiness. But of course, they want to do this stuff under the radar, undetected, because they don't like being called out on these things. They don't like when people see them in the act of trying to sabotage, because it can taint their image, and they try to avoid that at all costs. But that's usually what they resort to. And even if they don't hoover you or try to sabotage you, and even if they did hoover you, you entertain them back. Let's say you reconciled. Of course, it would only be a matter of a short amount of time, maybe days or weeks or whatever, before they would do something to devalue you and then maybe discard you. But even if they don't come back, or even if they don't try to sabotage you, they're always thinking about it. They're always thinking of how they can bring you down. They get those intrusive thoughts. It's just the nature of the disorder. That's why sometimes it's best just not to let them have any access to you. Let them forget, because sometimes if they don't have access to you long enough, they will forget-ish. But the problem is when they do catch glimpses of you and they see that you're doing well, then they can't ignore that anymore. Then they go into this whirlwind of thoughts of, no, that can't be true. Their denial kicks in. But then they think, well, what if it is true? Oh, but then I can't live with it. And then they think, should they hoover you? Should they come back to your life? Should they try to sabotage you? And it's a real mess. But they really start obsessing over that. But the two things is, once they're gone, just try to give them as little as possible. If you can keep yourself away from them, if you can keep your life out of their radar, that would be best. But if they do catch glimpses of you and they try to message you or meet up or anything like that, just don't. Just keep them out of your life. Stay no contact. Definitely my recommendation.